This is insane. 42 Dugg arrested by feds in Detroit, facing 5 years on gun-related charges. 42 Dugg explains why the feds are powerless against him. Is 42 Dugg facing a possible sentence of 5 years behind bars? At this time, every arrow appears to be pointing in that general direction. All of you who are fans of 42 Dugg, we're sorry to say that we have some disappointing news for you. It's possible that you've already heard and seen that Dugg will soon be doing time in prison, and this time it'll be permanent. However, it appears that he has a different point of view and feels that the federal government is unable to detain him. 42 Dugg has had a number of setbacks in his life, one of which required him to spend 5 years in prison. How did 42 Dugg get himself into this predicament? Well, hey folks, welcome back to Celebs in Jail, where in today's video, we are going to discuss 42 Dugg's case. So are you ready to know the truth? Alright, let's start our video. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click on that bell icon so you never miss out on any of our amazing videos. And let's begin! After getting a search warrant that allowed them to trace the position of a smartphone, agents from the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives Bureau were keeping an eye on his whereabouts and observing his actions. They were able to capture him at about 4:45 in the morning, Wednesday. Even though his name was left off the airplane's passenger manifest, prosecutors located the rapper with enough money and jewels to fund a flight from justice. They made this discovery despite the fact that his name was not listed on the flight's manifest. Assistant United States Attorney Barbara Lanning stated that the defendant was found in possession of $25,000 in cash and more than $100,000 in jewels at the time of his arrest. The arrest indicates a worsening of legal troubles for a performer whose career has skyrocketed during the pandemic despite a succession of arrests and criminal charges. If he is found guilty of neglecting to surrender during the previous month, rather than spending 6 months in a prison camp, he may spend up to 5 years in federal prison. The first entry on Detain Hayes' criminal records from 2010 when he was found guilty of carjacking and having illegal guns in his possession. Detain Hayes, nicknamed 42 Dugg, after serving his time, was granted freedom 5 years ago and immediately began a meteoric climb in the rap scene. On the songs We Paid and Grace, which were both produced by Lil Baby, Hayes, who is Yo Gotti's protege, was a collaborator. His mixtape Free Dem Boys debuted on the Billboard 200 at position number 8 in May 2021 with 32,000 units sold, after he released the mixtape Last Ones Left only the previous month. Recent legal troubles for him may be dated back to November of last year. When this occurred, agents with the ATF were given information that Hayes had shot a firearm while inside Stoddard's Range and Guns in Atlanta. After reviewing the gun range's video footage and records, the investigators discovered that Hayes and 2 other people had attended the shooting range on November 8th. A criminal complaint states that Hayes was seen on surveillance footage holding, loading, and discharging a 9mm Glock pistol. The video was obtained from a surveillance camera. In March of 2020, he was taken into custody and charged with criminal possession of a handgun. According to public records, Hayes moved his family to a suburb of Atlanta when he was out on bail in the Georgia gun case. He purchased a home with 6,500 square feet and a price tag of $1.4 million. In November, he was found guilty of illegally having a firearm and given a sentence that included 3 years of probation and a fine of $90,000. But the court gave Hayes a sentence of 6 months in a federal prison camp after he tested positive for opiates multiple times and was detained in Las Vegas for impeding law officers. On April 12, Hayes was supposed to report to the camp near Welch, West Virginia, but he never showed up. Hayes filed an appeal under the impression that he would not have to go to prison while the case was pending, according to statements made by his attorney Steve Schrag to the Detroit News. Hayes made the decision to do so. Prosecutors assert that on April 29th, he submitted documentation to a federal court in Georgia stating that, as a sovereign citizen, he was immune from the jurisdiction of federal laws. On Thursday, Lanning told Executive U.S. Magistrate Judge David Grand that the defendant was in effect signaling that he would not be going to any Bureau of Prisons facility. In spite of the assertions that he was wealthy and the cash that detectives discovered, Hayes was provided with a free attorney by the court on Thursday. That attorney's name was Casey Swanson. Swanson cast doubt on the notion that Hayes was the one who sent the letter. She affirmed that Mr. Hayes had not run away. He did not purposefully try to get out of serving a sentence in this instance. Hayes was able to avoid capture by deputy, United States Marshals, and ATF officers after the letter was submitted to the court. This was despite the fact that Hayes maintained a consistent presence for his 2.1 million Instagram followers and more than 335,000 Twitter followers. His attorney stated that he uses several forms of social media. He's not being secretive. He can be seen out and about in public. Agents with the ATF were unable to locate Hayes in Atlanta. ATF Special Agent Brett Brandon stated in court on Thursday that since April 28th, they had no idea where Mr. Hayes was. On April 28th, federal authorities secured authorization from the court to ping Hayes' phone in order to identify its whereabouts. However, ATF officers did not begin getting results until Monday. According to the testimony of the agent, the investigators carried out surveillance at around 7 different residences in the metro Detroit area, but never saw Hayes. A signal was sent to his phone earlier this week, and agents found that he was in Memphis. They followed his return to Willow Run Airport, which is located west of Detroit, early on Wednesday morning. Hayes was detained by airport security until the investigators arrived at the airport. The agents quickly learned that the private plane did not have a designated flight number attached to it. Agents made inquiries with airport security to determine whether or not Hayes was on board the flight. After checking the manifest, they determined that Hayes was not one of the passengers on board. But as soon as the passengers got off the plane, security recognized Hayes, put his phone on a table so that ATF officials could examine it, and told the rapper to wait in the lobby. In the parking lot, they were able to find his bodyguard. Lanning stated that the suspect possessed 2 extended magazines for his Glock guns, each of which had a capacity of 30 rounds. The next step consisted of the agents attempting to retrieve the rapper's phone. Therefore, ATF heads over to the counter where the airport police have stashed Mr. Hayes' phone. "I checked, and it wasn't there," Lanning remarked. They have a conversation with airport police, and the airport police are able to identify the pilot who was seen palming the phone and putting it in his pocket. Agents of the ATF approached the pilot and took possession of the phone. According to the prosecutor, the timeline demonstrates that Hayes poses a significant danger of fleeing the jurisdiction. He has said that he owns assets worth more than $11 million. According to Lanning, he has access to a private jet and a pilot who is ready to fly an unnumbered trip in which Mr. Hayes is not featured on the flight's manifest. After Hayes' arrest, investigators listened to his calls. The agent stated he spent 8 days in Detroit and avoided Atlanta due to a beef. Hayes' withdrawal symptoms were discussed at least once. Prosecutors said he tested positive for morphine and codeine in November. Hayes was ordered jailed pending transport to Georgia to face a new accusation of failing to surrender. The feds aren't done with Hayes. During Thursday's court hearing, the ATF agent was asked if investigators contacted the rapper's family. Brandon added, "We would have contacted his family, but we're investigating other criminal concerns." It has been claimed that a court in Detroit granted him bond, but the authorities have opted to send him to Georgia so that he may begin serving the 6-month sentence there instead. We're sending him our best wishes and keeping our fingers crossed that this won't set back his burgeoning rap career too much. Hey everybody, that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you hang out with us for our next one. And if you want to watch more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss any updates. We appreciate you for spending time out of your busy day with us on our channel, and we hope to see you in our next one. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching!